And here's a look at our knobs after a good cleaning on all of these. And there's the two that we repainted, so they match now. And repainted the numbers on the channel selector. Welcome back to part 3, 1952 Admiral, model 57 M10. Now that the chassis is completed, we'll get to work on the cabinet and get this finished up. So let's get started. Here's a speaker that we're going to attempt to repair. This is an original speaker. You can see the part number. That's an Admiral part number. I've already removed the nuts that hold the speaker in. So take a look at the front. And of course, this completely missing. We got a hole right there. So let's see if we can do some repair on this speaker. Hopefully we can reuse it. I'm going to use paper towel. Tissue paper is better, but this is so brittle. See, it's broken even back that far. And I need something pretty stiff that's going to hold everything together. And using wood glue, Q-tip. So we have it about where we need it. Not very pretty, but we'll let that dry and then we'll test it and see what it sounds like. And if it works, then we'll just repaint this. We do need to put some new grill cloth on this. Part of the speaker cone laying there. And this is just glued on, so I'm going to take this old cloth off and I'll cut me a new piece. Alright, that peeled off pretty easy. So let me get a new piece of cloth and get it put on. Well, I had a piece almost the right size, so we'll get this glued on and do some trimming. And again, using glue. Probably trim that edge because this fits pretty tight where it slides in the TV. We'll trim that edge off. Cabinet's pretty rough down here. I think those are some cracks in it. And we got two little doors that pull down to adjust the controls. One on each side. Luckily those aren't broke off. A lot of times they are. Well, the bezel I think comes off pretty easy. It has some brackets on the top and on the bottom. That centerpiece that covers the radio dial looks like it has some push-on clips. We got to really be careful with them. This bezel has a piece of plastic trim. Goes around the perimeter. And the corners are taped. I think you can see that tape right there. And then where they join, there's a piece of tape there. The glass should be loose. Look how thick that glass is. Next, I'm going to pull this screen off. Yeah, there's a screen that was there. Got it out of the way. Have one off. And the way I'm doing it, I'm just prising in the center, trying to spread that nut just a little. think these posts are metal, so that helps. Well, success. We're going to buff this, polish and buff, and see if we can make it look a little better. Alright, I'm going to take these doors off too. Pretty simple there, just a couple of Phillips heads holds the hinge. Now let's see what we can do with these. This radio dial cover, hopefully I can get some of this cleared up. We'll see. Here's what I'm going to be using. Use a scratch remover first, then we'll put some polish on. Well, that's going to be the best I can do. Did make them look a little shinier, especially these doors. This door has 3 splits. And this one was actually loose, so I've super glued it. But that's all we can do with it. This radio dial cover, I think you can see it's melted there. And I sanded all of it out, and it's smooth, but it's so deep that I can't get all of it out. But I guess it looks a little better. The gold part looks better anyway. Glass cleaned up really well. That antenna's in good shape. Just wiped it off. Cleaning on these knobs, and all of these look really good. Even the small ones need to do some more cleaning, but just wiped them off. But this channel selector, for some strange reason, we're missing the gold on this side. I found this in my stash of knobs. It's the same knob, so hopefully I can clean that gold up on it and we can use it instead. That would look better. Well, it's going to require painting too to make it look better. So I think what I'll do, I'm going to soak all of these, including both of these, and we'll do a better job of cleaning around those numbers and just see which one that would work the best. Well, that's after painting the channel selector knob. I really didn't want to paint the on-off volume, but you can see it looks different, so I've taped it up and I'm going to put a coat of gold on it, and that way the two knobs will match. Well, this back is homemade. I think I'll just use it and I'll make some kind of a cover to go over where the CRT neck sticks out. This bezel, I just cleaned it off. The only bad place on it is that place there that the paint's gone, and some rust trying to start. Making a little progress on the cabinet. I wanted to show you I'm using a pretty aggressive cleaner here on the top to try to get the crud off. And I'm not sure if that's cigarette smoke or just the color of the brown cabinet wiping off. I don't smell any cigarette smoke. But we're making it look better. Quite a few paint specks on here. And white paint to boot. It makes it even better. Makes it stand out really good. So I've been working down here, and I'm just scraping them off. Taking just a dull knife blade, just barely moving it around. And a lot right there in the top too. Well, that's getting the paint off. Went from here back to right there. You can see what's left. Certainly looks better than it did when I started. Alright, I think we're good enough on cleaning the cabinet off. Next I'm going to touch up this script on here. These are a bump out lettering so you can feel them. And we'll touch them up. It needs some touching up, as well as the Admiral letters. Just using gold spray paint for these letters. The fine tip brush. And I've done all the letters except the L. And I'm sure I'll have to go back and put one more coat. And here's a look at the cabinet, ready for the chassis. And here's a look at our knobs after a good cleaning on all of these. And there's the two that we repainted. So they match now. And repainted the numbers on the channel selector. I do need to cut a couple of pieces of felt. There was two still left. I think one was on that one. So I'll need another one that size and another one this size to go behind one of these. Okay, cabinet is up on the bench. And we need some foam material around this edge. You remember that old foam was all deteriorated, so here's what I have. Just a sponge tape, and it's got a peel back, sticky back on it. You just peel and stick. So let me get this out and we'll see how that works. Alright, I think that should work. Chassis is installed. We're still playing okay. These speaker wires. The original wires are probably about that long, which wouldn't reach over to the speaker jack, which is way over here. So I just made new speaker wires, and I'm going to route them across the chassis like that. We're going to put these knobs on. That's a tone control. That's the one, if you remember, had the little dial cord that went over to the control, is mounted over here. So that's a tone control. And this is a function switch, which we're in the TV mode, which should be right up there. Contrast, or they call it a picture control, right here. And the on-off volume. Fine tuning. And we have our felt on there. It's original felt. And this is a radio tuning. These knobs are made together. There's only one shaft that turns, and that's the tuning shaft. So the back knob is just to match this one. And finally, we got our channel selector. This back, even though it is homemade, they done a pretty good job of making it. You can see the top of it has a slight crown in it, just like the cabinet does. And it fits good. So I've got an idea for this bump out where the CRT neck sticks out. We do need something there to protect the CRT. And here's my idea on it. It's a plastic bowl. I think I can center that once I get the chassis put in and see where the CRT comes out at. You know, if it's in the middle, if it's over to the one side or the other. But once I figure that out, then I'll put this on here and mark it, cut me a circular hole that matches this back side width, and then I'll push it through from the inside out, so it'll look like that on the outside. And assuming that works okay, then I will paint it. That sticks out plenty, but we're going to go with that. It does fit tight and it'll stay in there. And I dug up some screws. Now we've got all 4 screws holding the back on. And this transformer was kind of rusty and dingy looking, so I'm painting it, just using some acrylic paint, brushing it on. Speaker wire fastened down. And a little plastic polish on the back. Cover up a few of those scratches. And that wraps up the restore on the 1952 Admiral 17-inch model 57 M10. Well, we hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, how about giving us a like and subscribing to our channel? Thanks.